This is Inside the Beehive, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of Team Visma Lease a Bike.
Welcome to Inside the Beehive, the off-season tapes recorded in our team bus and published on our podcast channels, but also on our YouTube page. We talk to some of the main protagonists of Team Visma Lease a Bike of the past cycling season. And in this episode, we sit down with rising star Matthew Brennan to talk about his first World Tour season, his first World Tour races, his first World Tour wins, and his third contract with the team within 2 years.
Inside the Beehive.
Maybe we should consider a live audience for the future, because I think the last thing I just mentioned in the introduction would have ignited a huge applause from them. We have some news. Matthew Brennan, 20 years of age, has extended his contract with Team Visma Lease a Bike yet again. Matthew, congratulations. Let's start with that. Do you like giving autographs? Is Richard such a big fan of yours that he just keeps asking for new autographs, or was there another more serious reason to extend the contract yet again?
Yeah, the team environment is such a good environment that you can kind of learn from, develop from, and for me, this is kind of the place where I feel like I can do that. And I feel like everyone is so supportive and can kind of guide me into what I need to do and where I need to be, and really provide the confidence for the next few years of racing. So I sat down with my agent and I also discussed this. And when the kind of offer kind of came through where they said, okay, we would like to talk, then this is something where for me, where I'm happy, that I kind of can't really turn down. And it was perfect to have such a long chance to stay here and really kind of settle into the team without any pressures or worries about if I have a bad year, then I still have the time to kind of develop this. And Richard was really clear on this and wanted to make it like this so that the pressure was low and that I had the opportunity to kind of spend some time doing things properly, should we say.
So that's a very serious answer, but still, it's special, no? To sign 3 contracts in 2 years' time.
Yeah. I mean, it's always special to be able to stay in the pro peloton, really, and it's not exactly a proper job. So it's to be able to ride your bike every day. It's fantastic.
But. Yeah, did you, for example, the first time you signed the contract, we also had a short call about announcing stuff and that. Did you anticipate then it would go so fast?
No. You take it every day as something that you know is quite temporary, because you know on the contract you only have 2 years. So then you want to perform, you want to do well. And it does that sense of okay, I need to put the gas on a little bit and really try and pick up. But to also then be given the opportunity to race in the World Tour, it was a 3-year deal, I think. Can't remember.
The next contract you signed?
My contract I'm on now, yeah.
The second
I can't remember how long it is. Just find out when you turn up to work one day and you're not allowed in. Then you're given the opportunity to race and to learn, and now to kind of take that next step, and the team have some faith in kind of where the projection might be, then it's super nice. And again, you're riding your bike for a living. It couldn't be any better. So
what can be a next step for you? What's the plan?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about kind of grand tours in the next couple of years, classics, things like this, and not necessarily kind of just turning up to them, but trying to win, classics, monuments, grand tour stages, things like this. So I'm not going to put anything specific, because that's why I don't need to. But I think we just see where the next few years go, and hopefully we can kind of be in that position to do that, really. But it's tricky. It's a hard sport,
Yeah, anything can happen, both positive that you have seen the past 2 years, but also negative. You don't hope for that, of course, and you don't make plans for that, but it can. Let's stay on the positive side. And what are you looking forward to the most for the next couple of years?
I think racing with kind of guys like Wout, super experienced, Jonas as well. I think to be in those kind of races where you can really work with some of the best guys in the world, and some of the most successful guys in the world, it's an experience, and I've had that opportunity already a little bit this year, and it's been super exciting, but hopefully we can kind of get to the back end of some of the classics where, in races like Roubaix, where it can become a really exciting finish, and hopefully that we can play our cards together and win, essentially. But, it's super chaotic, but cycling is changing so quickly that anything within the next 4 years can happen. And if you look back 4 years ago, it just looks like old school bike riding. So it'll be nice to look back in 4 years' time and see what I've achieved, if I've achieved anything, hopefully. But and look back where I was now and see where I am in the future. But I think it's exciting, what's to come, really. But yeah.
I think you've already achieved more than maybe some pros will have in their entire career. And maybe let's dive a bit deeper into that, into your first pro season. What was your expectation going into that first year?
Yeah, so we said we want to win a race, full stop. Doesn't matter what race it is, we want to win a race. And that was really kind of a goal and the motivation that I had throughout the winter to try and do that. And the team had a lot of confidence in kind of the numbers I was pushing, but ultimately a bike race never really comes down to the amount of power that you can push unless you're on a climb, for example. But, a lot of it is about positioning and managing other riders, working as a team to get where you need to be. And it happened very, very quickly. At the start of the year, we got a second place in Down Under. And that was quite something where it gave me a lot of confidence to go into the next part of the year. From there, it really kind of, should we say, escalated where you think a lot about how you do things and how you can improve them. And with the team's backing, it kind of really went quite quick.
Yeah, because if I look at your season, it's also a clear example of adjusting plans almost all the time, just because you were, I think, exceeding the expectations like every time. You came in second in your first World Tour stage, and then you continued on that role actually. You started in at Newsblad.
Yeah.
After that first start in Down Under, and I remember you coming back to the bus after the race with a smile on your face, saying that you really enjoyed the experience.
Yeah.
But there was also something new to you, like a new experience. What did you take away from that day?
I remember, I came off that, but came to the bus and I was really quite happy. I got dropped, it was nothing special about that race for myself. But I think the feeling of being involved in a big, big race for myself, first big opportunity to kind of show yourself and also cause a little bit of chaos in that race, but also help guys like Wout, Tish, really try and get the best result that they can. And I might not have done certain things well, but who cares, It was the first opportunity that you had to ride one of the classics. So it was a super cool experience. And riding your first classic is always going to be fun, and because it's just so chaotic. But I think that was probably one of the best feelings coming off the bike, to be honest. Finishing that day, it was just like, whatever happened, but it's super fun, And that's what it's about.
I think it's a remarkable answer for someone who won 12 pro races, 14 races in the first pro season, to say that that was the day you came off the bike with the best feeling ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily like, it's a different type of feeling, you know? And when you've always seen these races on TV, and yes, you've raced Tour Down Under, whatever, but it's such a start to the year, should we say. You've signed your first World Tour contract, then you get thrown into opening weekend, and it's like, oh, that's quite cool, you know? And then you're racing with guys like Wout, who, is obviously contesting for the win, so there's a little bit of pressure on your shoulders, but if you feel like you've done what you need to do, and the whole experience is quite cool, you know, racing over some of the climbs and some of the cobble sectors, it's quite an adrenaline feeling, should we say. I think I was pumped with caffeine at the time, so I didn't get sleep that night, but yeah, it is a very different feeling to winning, because you're contributing to something for someone else. And if you do that well, then you feel as satisfied. Don't get me wrong, winning is fantastic, but there's also a lovely feeling about helping someone else achieve their goals, for example. So,
talking about winning and adjusting plans, the original plan was always to have you on a mixed program, a mixed calendar with also some Devo races. You did 2 of them. You won both.
Yeah.
Was that about the time when you realized, okay, maybe I don't need to learn so much anymore on this level?
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to kind of be able to win, but it was also, it felt a little bit like I needed to maybe go up a level. And this is not necessarily like a bad thing. I think it was the coaches wanted to test where I was at a little bit, and I kind of exceeded maybe the expectations of them and myself. And yeah, from there they decided, okay, we cannot take you to any more Devo races, especially if you're riding big races like Omloop, Catalonia, things like this. So your calendar has to change, but that also made a bit of unpredictability for myself throughout the year. I didn't really know what was coming next. You know, I kept getting phone calls from Robert, who's my coach, and he was saying, okay, like, this is not on the schedule anymore. We're going to this race, we're going to that race. It's a little bit hilly, and then your life plans change. You know, I remember I was shopping with my girlfriend, and he called me up and said, maybe we switch Bruce to Pan for Catalonia. And I was sat there like, because I think I had something planned with my girlfriend that weekend, and I thought, Robert, maybe not. Let me get back to you. And he's like, yeah, I think it'd be a really good race for you, whatever. And I'm glad that you kind of go through with these things and listen to what the coaches say, because they obviously know cycling a bit better than I do. And from there, that was where my first opportunities came across, and I managed to win.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think it's for everyone. It's a bit of a trial and error process as well, right?
Yeah.
Finding out, what you can or cannot do. Looking for how far can you go, but you don't want to overpush it, of course, because you're still so young.
Yeah.
So I guess that's for everyone, even the coaches, because that's why we also needed to adjust all those plans every time, because you were just exceeding expectations. So I'm guessing that this is a process for everyone, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's always an interesting talk speaking with the coaches about kind of what we want to do and what we want to try, because you'll look at a race like I did Tour of Romandy this year, and I looked at that and I looked at the stage profile. I was like, why are they sending me here? You know, you've got all these climbers who are like sub 60 kilos and you're turning up ready to sprint, and it's like, I'm not even sure I'm going to make it to the finish line. And some days you do, some days you don't, but that's the whole point in doing it, you know? But the trial and error is, some days it works, some days it doesn't. but it's good to know where the boundaries are. We just know that I cannot win a stage on the Galibier, but anything else is kind of potential. So Pogacar and guys like that, yeah, leave that up to them. I'm not racing them.
And so your girlfriend, in the end, she was happy that you went to Catalonia and brought some flowers for her, or?
Yeah, I think she was happy about that. I'm not sure she was happy about missing that weekend, but it is what it is. I think now, for the long term, it's helped out a bit more, but yeah, I think it was a good decision to go in the end.
Yeah, I think everyone can see that you won 2 stages, and also it was again at a higher level that you showed yourself, right? And then after that, the plans were changed again, or maybe during that race, I don't know. But you were able to go to Paris-Roubaix. How was that?
Yeah, so I got the call up from Matthew on the phone, and he sent me a message after GP Denane, after that race, and
which you won.
Yeah, and he said, "Oh, can you call me in the next half hour?" And I was like, "Oh dear, what's happening here?" You know, Mathieu doesn't really call you or anything like this because his job is not to really. We don't really interact with him, or I don't really interact with him as such. That's not because I don't like him.
No, yes, more overview.
Yeah, he's an
position.
overview. Yeah.
But he will know what's happening with you.
Yeah.
Through Robert.
Yeah. So I got a call from him, and he said, "Okay, we see how you race in Denane. We want to take you to Roubaix." I thought, okay, interesting. And I was sat in Girona. Where was I sat in Girona? I think I was sat in Girona at the time with my parents, and my parents came to visit. I said, "I'm very sorry, but you're gonna have to go to France this weekend." And they're like, "What do you mean you have to go? Well, I've got to ride Roubaix now." And it was like, they were really happy, but also my dad was like, "Oh, it's cobbles, you know, like wet. It's gonna rain." And parents just being parents, they wanna make sure you're safe. So I went in the end, and they came to watch. And my mum said that they got to the Arenberg. And they got to the barrier, and she didn't even realise I came past because we came past so fast. But that was a super experience. My parents really enjoyed it, and I hope to kind of go again this year.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I cannot mention any place like Arenberg as a spectator.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what it must feel like for you guys in the group. But how was riding Roubaix at 19 years of age? Yeah,
chaotic. I remember I took some caffeine quite early on, which made me really, really nervous going into the sectors. So I was kind of hugging Pogacar's wheel a little bit because I knew this guy's pretty safe wheel to follow, you know. Van der Poel was all over the place, on curbs, etc., following everyone. I was like, I'm not getting involved in that. He's way too skilled for me. So I just sat on Pogacar, and I was looking for kind of if Wout was around, Ado, and then it got a little bit further into the race, and the race thinned out, and myself and Wout were still there. And then we hit the Arenberg, and yeah, I mean, in hindsight, there's a lot of things that I wish I'd known to do, but that's the reason why I went there, you know, just pick up the experience, go and enjoy yourself, like no stress, help Wout out if you can, if not, so what? And yeah, I remember coming off the Arenberg and I see Van der Poel attacking, and I just said to myself, like, you know, like you're tired, and then you just see this guy just drop the biggest watt bomb that you could see. And it was just full gas down the road afterwards. And I think that was probably the hardest. That was where I cracked, I think. Did that effort, and then after that, it was gone. But it was also a tricky situation with Wout behind as well. Like, you're kind of 19 years old. You're in the front of the bike race in one of the key moments, and your leader is behind you. and you're not sure what to do, you know, so you just kind of follow the decisions that you want to make at that time. And yeah, I mean, Wout really, I think, showed how strong he was that day. I cracked completely, but he was a proper diesel, you know. He just kept going until the end, and I think he finished 4th that day, which people knock that result, but you know, why don't they go and ride Roubaix themselves and find out how hard it is to even get a 4th place? And if you want to consider that Wout as having a bad day on the bike, then let's see when he's having a good day, you know, and hopefully we can achieve something next year that will be quite exciting.
Is that something for the future? Future, you have a long future, of course, ahead of you, but like volume and just getting the kilometers in a race like that.
Yeah, I think we worked it out a little bit with, if you look at a guy like Wout, he's got, I think, almost hundreds of thousands more kilometers than myself in the legs. So that depth is obviously going to be there, and he's going to be able to push the power further into the race. And I still look like a little kid on a bike, and, you know, he's an absolute engine. So it's one of these things that we obviously are aware of and we know, and it just takes time and you can't really force it. But I think hopefully in the future it's something that won't be a weakness and more something that we can play as a strength.
And can you also explain why can't you just have, for example, Wout or any other rider who has done Roubaix a couple of times, explain to you why it's such a hard race and where you need to take care, where you need to be attentive and what are the dangers. But why is it that it doesn't work like that and you just need to experience it yourself?
Yeah, so funnily enough, on the morning of Roubaix, I went into Wout's room. I messaged him. I said, "Look, can I just come and have a chat about this race that we're about to do?" He said, yeah, come in, no problem. And I said, "Right, what's this? What's the deal with this race? What do I do?" And he just said, "Be at the front of the sectors. It's going to be chaos. That's it. There's nothing more you can say, you know. It's a race that is just so crazy, chaotic, crashes, there's people everywhere, there's spectators, and you need to make sure that you have everything dialed yourself. And that's only really something you can experience. It's not a normal race for a reason. And you never really experience the fatigue like that, because it's not just the legs, it's the arms, the body, everything is completely tired, and you cannot describe the feeling without experiencing it yourself, or you cannot appreciate the feeling without experiencing it yourself. And I think it's something that I maybe went in underestimating a little bit, but I did the Junior Roubaix, so I kind of had a guesstimate in how tired I would be at the end, you know, so... But I think I was more empty in the pro one than the junior one, to be honest. But
makes sense.
Yeah, but it's a cool race. It really is.
We talked a lot about Wout already, but I think, in the second part of the season, you were put on the calendar with him a bit more often, deliberately, but also with Olaf Koy. Why was that?
Well, I think at the end of the day, it's always nice to try to win a bike race, but it's also important that you can give feedback for other people. And this was something that my coach Robert and race coach Jesper Mokov discussed a little bit, and we came up with the idea of, okay, we have two fast guys. One is very much a pure sprinter, but can still climb a little bit, and the other one is myself, and I'm not as fast as Olav, but I can climb a little bit better. So that was quite a nice combination where I was able to maybe be a lead out for him and also experience for myself what it's like to be a lead out man, so that in the future, when I kind of get to these moments that are so crucial in a bike race that when I give the feedback, it's kind of not unrealistic feedback, and that you understand the struggles of trying to be in this position where you need to be and things like this. So that was a really key moment of learning, really. And that kind of just develops your bank of knowledge of how to move through the peloton and things like this. So especially when I kind of speak to Wout when he's providing a lead out for myself, then it's really kind of useful to speak with him and not give an unrealistic answer, although he will tell me anyway that it's unrealistic. It's nice to cut the rubbish out of the conversation and then just go straight in and just say it how it is type thing.
How do you feel about working together with guys like Wout? It must be also there kind of crazy as a 20-year-old by now. It
is a privilege. I don't think many people get the opportunity to do that anyway. But I think there's been a few opportunities in a race where I've kind of had to pinch myself a little bit and go, this guy's working for me, you know? And that is quite something when you step back and think about what is actually happening right now. But it also gives me a lot of confidence that a guy who is so experienced and has been so successful in his career puts a lot of faith and trust in me, that when it comes to the finish line, that he believes that I can produce a good result or potentially even win the bike race. And that for me gives me a lot of confidence. Also comes with a little bit of pressure, but nothing, you know, you start to look at the positives of why he's doing it, and yeah, but it's fantastic, really.
I can imagine. Another thing, because of all the wins, 14 in total, I was under the impression that you had raced a lot, especially for Neo Pro. You also started in January already and finished in October, but when I looked it up, it was only 54 days of racing. How do you feel about the build-up of your year? Were you tired at the end?
I was looking forward to my holiday at the end. I think, yeah, it's only 54 race days, but every race day was super intense. And every kind of race that I turned up to was kind of go and win, if that makes sense, or try to win or try to support the win. And obviously that's what you do at every race. But I think when throughout the year, especially towards the back end of the year, more races are kind of focused on yourself to be the leader or something like this. And it takes a lot of mental energy. And what my coaches didn't want was an overload of everything, if that makes sense. And yeah, it's 54 race days, but when you start adding things like the travel and things like this, it does add up quite a lot of just faff. And, you know, if you go to a Grand Tour, it's 20 days on top of that, that's fine. But you only have 2 travel days instead of traveling back and forth to Europe, all around Europe every week. And you'd get home really quite tired mentally, and it was so important. And I even mentioned to the coaches that it's just important that I need 1 or 2 days off just to go and do something else, or hike, or do something like this, so that I can turn up to the next race and be switched on.
Mm-hmm. So what did you do for off-season then? Because then you had some proper rest.
So when off-season comes, like, I always love to go away and travel. Like, I feel like there's a world out there to explore and see. So this year we went to Sri Lanka, and we did a nice travel around Sri Lanka. We did everything from like cooking to safaris, surfing, things like this, bit of walking, hiking as well. And they're the things I like to do, you know? And that's quite an off switch for me. I quite like that. And we also got the opportunity to go to Miami with Cervelo as well. And that was also an amazing opportunity where I met a load of amazing people, and with that, a lot of experiences come up from it. And yeah, essentially that's what I spent my time doing for the few weeks that we were away. But yeah, no, it's always nice to go and make memories when you're away, because as a cyclist, you see so much of the world, but from an airport or from a hotel room. You never get to really experience the cultures or meet the people who are there. And to me, that's what makes a place, you know. Every airport is the same, every hotel room is the same, except when you're really hot and there's got no air conditioning. That's a very different ball game. But, you know, if every 5-star hotel is the same, so how do you make your life a little bit different? Well, you go and explore a little bit, you know. So that's what I really enjoy doing, seeing the world and, yeah, doing that.
Yeah, it sounds like one holiday completely stripped of everything related to cycling in Sri Lanka, because I guess nothing will have reminded you of cycling over there, and then the other one was cycling combined to sightseeing, in a different way than during the race. All right, I think that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining us, Matthew. Congrats again on the new contract. And to the audience, I just want to say, don't forget to subscribe to podcast YouTube channel, comment also on there, and make sure to also tune in to all the other episodes with lots of interesting insights from all the other team members. So see you there. Bye.
Inside the Beehive was brought to you by Visma, Cervelo and Lease.